Hello everyone, and welcome to episode number 10 of my creative podcast, The PiaKnits. My name is Mariam and I am a piano teacher, but I have a passion for making hats, for sewing, but most of all I have a passion for knitting. And in my podcast, I want to tell you all about my creative work and share with you some ideas and inspiration. Of course, I use a lot of materials, but it is important for you to know that I am not sponsored. I buy all the materials myself. Oh yes, I forgot to mention, I live in Belgium and my native language is Dutch, but I also make my creative videos in English. My English is not perfect at all, but I will do the best I can. Also, the music that you hear in the videos is composed by my son, Tobias, especially for my podcasts. And all specific information about materials and the music I will mention in the description below the video. And last, I have to mention, on social media you can find me on YouTube and on Instagram as the PiaKnits. So I'm very happy to see you today, and thank you to join me and keeping me company for episode number 10. Today I have, as usual, 3 projects that I want to share with you. And the first one is a knitting project. It is the sweater that I am knitting for my grandson Felix. And in episode number 9, the previous episode, I already told you about the sweater. And in fact, I knit the sweater without a pattern. I calculated the pattern myself, and I have knitted the sweater from top down, from the neckline to the bottom. But in episode 9, I told you all about it. The yoke was too small because Felix, my grandson, will be 2 years at the end of the year, and I realized that the yoke was not okay and the neckline would not fit at all. So what I did already, and you saw it in episode 9, I prepared all the stitches at the bottom of the yoke to be able to pick them up afterwards. And I put a contrasting yarn, and it was the white one, through all of the stitches. Then I picked up the stitches with smaller needle points on my circular knitting needles, because that was easier to get through these stitches. Then of course the yoke was still on the sweater. When with all the 240 stitches on the cable, then I cut off the yoke that didn't fit for the right size. Then I changed back the needle tips to the right size, metric size 3.5, because that is the size that I have been knitting the sweater with. And now everything is ready to continue with the yoke. So as you can see, I have not made a lot of progress on this sweater, and that is because I have been tempted to start a different knitting project with lots of colors, but that I will show you next. So what do I have to do here now? My next step, of course, for me now is taking pen and paper and recalculate the decreases to go to the neckline, the decrease is in the yoke. When you knit from top down, of course you have to increase, but now I do the reverse direction. I go from bottom up to the neckline and I have to decrease. So first recalculate and then re-knit the yoke. And I will knit the yoke with these colors. It is like gold and or yellow, dark yellow with beige, and of course the green one. These are the colors that I will knit in the yoke. The yarn is Katia Prime Merino. I will take the label. Of course I will mention everything in the description below the video, and it is fine merino DK superwash. Yes, 100% virgin wool. Katia Prime Merino. Very soft, I must say. So this project now is number 1 on my creative to-do list, because I want to get it ready to send to Sweden for the birthday of my little grandson Felix at the end of December. Wish me luck. The next project, that is the one, the reason why I stopped working at the sweater, is socks. So I wanted to work with a lot of colors, because I always feel happy with lots of color, working with different colors. So then I filled a little basket with a collection of my leftover sock wool, and I started knitting a pair of socks. That was years ago that I knitted a pair of socks, so I had to remember and take my book to make the heel, because I didn't know anymore how to do that. So as you see, I knitted with one basic color, the white. I knitted the white with a sock yarn from the Belgian company Annell, Annell Super Extra, and all the colored stripes I knitted with leftovers from Drops Fabel Print or Drops Fabel Long Print. I cannot remember that, but it is sock wool. I knitted with short double-pointed needles number 2.5, but the socks are a little bit too loose for me, too loose to wear in shoes, so maybe I could have knitted the socks with a smaller needle size, smaller short double-pointed needles, but I didn't have any smaller size, so but next time I think I will do that. But I'm happy. I will try to show the socks closer by for you. This is the, let's say, the red one with the red toe. See? And this is the other one with the blue toe and blue heel. Yeah, you see, with all these colors, it just makes me smile. I'm happy with my socks. Okay, so socks, as well as other smaller knitting projects like headbands or wrist warmers or a hat, they are perfect as a gift. And so, with the Christmas and New Year's season coming, I want to show you as my third project something completely different from, it is not sewing, it is not knitting, not crochet, but I made a little gift card, gift label for you as an example in a technique that is called Parchment Craft, or also called as Pergamano, but in fact Pergamano is the brand name. And I made a few examples. It is a hobby of mine that I have enjoyed a lot. I think maybe 15 or 20 years ago. So I thought, why not make a few simple examples to inspire you. So this is the first example. It is a little card that we can use as a gift label. I will try to show you as clearly as possible. This is the first card. So why did I make these examples? It is because I want to show to you that you can make something very beautiful and elegant with not so much material and tools. And that is interesting, I think. So, what I'm going to tell you is not a tutorial, it is not a lesson, but I want to inspire you. So, what do you need for this little gift label? A small, I will mention everything in the description bar, so you can find it there. A small piece of parchment paper, and really small, you know. I will show you. Yeah, I can take it here. So this is the leftover of the parchment paper that I used for this card, and it is 8 centimeters and 11 centimeters. So the card itself is 6.5 centimeters. So you see, it's really a small piece of parchment paper. And parchment paper looks like this. Yeah, it is light, but yeah, it is, I cannot find the word, but it is very good to emboss. You get a beautiful result. Also, at the back, you need a little piece of colored paper. I had a little bit of, it is very light cardboard. Yes, it's not really paper, it's a bit heavier than paper, but you could use colored paper, really small piece. Also maybe a piece of rope or ribbon. But to make the design, I have not made the design myself. I used a design from this book. Of course, as you know, my native language is Dutch. This one is in Dutch, Pergamano Kunst, but it exists also in English, Parchment Craft, part 2, I think. And on page 46, I used this design. So, I will tell you what other things you need to make this card. And that is, you use a white pencil to trace the design, the lines of the leaves of the flower and the lines of the edge with the white pencil. When you have done this, you use your embossing mat. I will tell something more about that. And a small embossing tool. I used one of 1.5 millimeter. There is a little ball. I try to show you like this. Here. Yes. And you, at the back side of the parchment paper, you emboss your lines as you wish. You can do different things. So, a small piece of parchment paper, a small piece of colored paper, one white pencil, one embossing tool, and then to make this lovely picot edge, I will try to show you with a black background. To make this picot edge, yes, you have to perforate the lines at the edge with a perforating tool, 2-needle perforating tool. So that is the second tool you need. And when you have done that, to make this little, it is like lace, picot edge, you need a little scissor or cutting tool like this. Don't know if there exists other things. This one is you can buy from Pergamano, and you cut off every little hole that you made with the perforating tool, and you get this lace result. So yeah, and okay, and what you can do more, if you would like that, I put in some pearls with glue, and because I had that in the house, rhinestones and pearls it is called, and it is on a little plastic paper with glue. You can pick it up with a pincette. I don't know if that is English, but pincette, and you put it in the heart of the flower, and you have a very elegant little gift card. I made a second example to show you with the same materials and the same amount of tools what you can do, what else you can do. So if you can see that clearly, the bottom flower I have perforated around the leaves, and I cut it out with this little special scissors, so you can have this effect. I hope you can see it clearly. If you don't want to cut that open, you can just also perforate around the leaves and just leave it like that. So you see, with the same amount of tools, you can have very nice results and be creative according to your own ideas. I like to do it. You know, if you like fine work, it is really relaxing to do, but you need patience, you need good light, sometimes a magnifying glass, sometimes, yes, and a little bit of time. But it doesn't take a lot of space. You can have everything around you very organized. It's nice. And the last card that I made for you is not complicated, but I used 2 extra perforating tools, the 3-needle tool and 5-needle perforating tool, and then you have this result. As you can see here, between the flowers and in the background of the card, you see these perforations, yes? But for that you need 2 more tools. What can I say more? Yes, to emboss, you have to put something under the parchment paper, and you need an embossing mat. This one I bought, it is a small embossing mat. Yes, this one I bought years ago, and this is from the brand Pergamano, but I know, because I had this earlier, that you can find this in any hobby shop, embossing mat. It is like something with a bit of mousse under the plastic. And to make your perforations, you need to have, it's called a perforating mat, but I'm not sure what material that is. But it is important, because if you have your perforating tool and your paper, you need to press through the paper in the mat. If you have only your table under it, you are immediately on the table. So you need something like kind of stable cushion to do the perforations. So that is the only thing you need. You don't need a lot of space, but you can really enjoy hours and hours of creativity. And well, the last example that I can show to you is something that I made already years ago, and is a bit more complicated. I used white ink and a pen, and then perforating tools, different kinds, and then also cutting open the parchment craft, paper, sorry. And this is one of the projects that I made. I will show it like that. I hope it is clear to you, that you can see it. So, if you would be interested to know more about the craft, I don't remember if I already told you that, but I invite you to visit my YouTube channel, the PiaKnits, and select the playlist Pergamano, and you will find there a selection of 5 videos that are really very interesting, very clear, if you would like to try this craft. So, this is it for today. You know, yes, making these creative videos is to me a meaningful hobby. But I hope that I am able to inspire and motivate you to trust your own creative talents and enjoy them, really. So I wish you all a very nice weekend. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.